I had to make a grand entrance. Mulweni, welcome to my YouTube channel, my corner, my space, my channel. Thank you so much, you guys, for showing me love in the past 3 months when I was very quiet and not posting anything on my channel and not saying anything about my channel. It was quite a phase. And one of the things I promised myself when I started the channel is that number one, I'm going to be genuine with my followers, and number two, I taught myself at this beginning of the year that let me endure every season. When it's time for me to be happy, let me be happy and enjoy the happiness, and I'll think about anything else but being happy. And when it's a time for me to weep and lament, let me do that and not run away from any season, because each and every season is there to make us grow. We cannot always be happy, we cannot always be sad, but each and every season is essential for growth. So I have been quiet, and I decided today, after being told by one of the most amazing YouTubers, Zalapa East London, who has shown me love so much during this period, unawarely. She told me yesterday that she's been waiting. In fact, I think it was the day before yesterday when she reminded me that we miss you on the channel, and we miss you in the YouTube space, and we cannot wait to hear from you. And I was like, you're making me panic. And she was like, no, we are waiting for you. And this is one of the YouTubers, because I remember before everything else happened, we were going to have a collab with these YouTubers of East London as East London YouTubers, but we couldn't, because I just had to say, I can't, guys. I cannot sit in front of a camera. I cannot even open my mouth, because things were just so much on me. Things were weighing so much on me. Now, what happened is that things were going quite well in my life, and things were, in fact, they were not going well, but izinto beziyondelelana in my life, especially spiritually. You know, I had reached a level where I had not reached before, kind of level where engazange ndabambana ngayo noThixo kuyo, you know. And it is when I was at that level when things just went, it was an anticlimax. And I think that was the biggest punch for me, you know, because I'm thinking to myself that, wow, this is the moment I've been waiting for. These are the floods I've been crying out for, and now that they are taking place, this happens and opposite happens, and it just shuts me down in my spiritual life, like, completely. And when I would describe this moment, I would describe it as, for a moment, for 3 months, I was paralyzed in my spiritual life. I could not move, I could not pray, I could not do anything. Whenever I would open my mouth, I would just cry, because all I could do at that particular moment was cry, and all I could remember was the pain I was going through, you know. And one of the things I learned about pain is that when you're going through pain, the only thing that makes sense to you at that moment is pain, nothing else. So it was quite tough, and in its toughness, I had found a new job, and my spiritual life was and then now my spiritual life all of a sudden goes down. And you know, once your spiritual life is affected, each and every other thing is affected, because you can't communicate with your God, you can't pray. And for the first time in my life, I was mad at God. You know, I used to listen to this guy when he shares his testimonies of his life, and he would share stories as that he would be mad at God for this and that. He would not talk to God. He would treat God like another human being, and he would not talk to him. He would ignore him. And it never made sense to me until I went through this phase and I understood what it means to be mad at God. I understood what it means to ungafuni anything from him, because you are going through a very rough patch. And the only thing at that particular moment is that, how could you let me reach this level? How could you let me reach? I mean, if you wanted to teach me something, you could have taught me before Ndibelap, because now this thing has pulled me kakhulu from phezulu yazondisa phezantsi, you know. And the more I had those questions, the more he wasn't saying anything. And I remember some days he would talk to me and I would be like, okay, so now you are talking to me, but when I'm talking to you, you ignore me, you don't say anything. What are you trying to teach me? If there's something that you need to teach me, teach me, you know. Those are the conversations I would have when I have conversations with him. But as those are conversations where you find pleasure in them, or we find answers, he would say something and I wouldn't want to listen because and he understands very well why I wanted to be at that particular level, okay, to grow into, you know. So I remember, it was quite a tough time. It was quite a tough time. But one of the things my husband taught me, which is very much difficult to do, is that he would say, Bana, if you're going through something, nyamezeli punch. So you paper, so you like a punch. Bingenili punch, nyamezeli. So there would be days in it was difficult, you know. It was difficult. It affected me spiritually and it affected my health because I started having headaches. I started it felt as if I was losing it. I could not stand indawo ethuleyo. Like I had if it's so silent, then there be noises and I'll have to shake my head like stop it, you know, because once I start to become depressed. I start to crumble. I start to be frustrated. I start to realize that and like spiritually and like everything in my life has just taken now the position. But in it all, I learned about the rain. In that younger I learned about the rain, and it wasn't so long when I learned about the rain that iyakwazi imvula. You know, some people prefer imvula, especially the people abanamasimi who have planted, who have crops. They want the rain, but the same rain could cause harm to someone who's walking, a pedestrian. The same rain could make it difficult for a person who's driving, but akwazi driver, and yet this is the same rain. So I realized that the same situation that I was crying about, that and paralyzed spiritually, it could be the same situation that is making another person spiritually, when you level spiritually. It could be the same situation that is making another person spiritually, yet this situation is making me defer spiritually, you know. Yeah, I think the right word is I was dead spiritually. And so in me being dead, I remember sometimes my husband would say, I'm an undercover spiritual, because I think it was his way of trying to search, am I fine, am I recovering? And for the first time in my life, I would say to him, I was on diva, I wasn't willing to feel it spiritually, and he would ignore me, because I think when he ignores me, because he didn't know at that particular moment but the main reason that led to me to be able to bandikwazi pin and shoot it, because I had stopped shooting. I had for a moment forgotten how therapeutic talking is for me, how therapeutic writing is for me, because I grew up as being someone who bala, how I feel I pen it down, how I feel I talk it out. But for 3 months I could not even talk. In fact, and so who am I gonna speak to? Because it felt as if whosoever I speak to, you know, it just it unfolds another bad situation, and it just be worse in my life. So I just felt, you know what, let me just be quiet. But yet being quiet in Dinjalo, I was dying and I was dying and I was dying. And I remember on my anniversary, I buried myself, you know. I buried myself on my anniversary without even inviting anyone at my funeral, at my spiritual funeral. I did not even invite anyone, because I had reached a point about, you know what, there's just no way I could bounce back to feel and this is it, you know. I'm dead walking. And those are the things I realized, that there are so many people who are dead walking as we realize. But one thing we could do is to put those people in prayers, because I remember someone realized that something was wrong with me, and they did not say anything about it to me until we were having a conversation in a group, and she said, no, I realized, and I started to pray about you. And I'm realizing that now, as I was starting to regain strength, not knowing where the strength is coming from, because I don't have strength to pray. I don't have strength to do anything. I had reached a point where even going to church for me was something that I'm immune to doing. Every Sunday I have to wake up, I have to go to church, because my body, my soul, my mind is immune to that, and that was it. But one thing that led to me being here today is I reconnected with God. I don't know how it happened. The last minute I checked, I was at church and they were singing a song about his Amanxeba. I forgot Amanxeba, I don't get English. But they were singing a song of Amanxeba Ake, his wounds, his wounds being therapeutic to me, his wounds being the right medicine. And I started posting about that a lot. I started getting into it deep and deep, like trying to understand, how can Amanxeba Ako heal me? How can Amanxeba Ako mend this broken heart? How can Amanxeba Ako resurrect this dead spiritual person in me? How can they do that? But I don't know how he did it. And it happened for the first time in 3 months. I opened my mouth and I prayed, and I prayed in tongues. For the first time in 3 months, I cried, because I could feel God holding me. I could feel God brushing umqolo, saying, it's okay now, pelile ngoku. And I remember after that service, I got home, I was so tired, yet I wanted us to go for a drive with my husband and my daughter. I pushed, let's go for a drive, let's just have family time, and he was tired. My daughter wanted to go to the bank to deposit her money, her savings. So they were just not into this idea, because my mind was relaxed. I was starting to feel like a normal mama to my daughter, a normal wife to my husband, a normal Onela, because I had been healed. I had felt Amanxeba in healing through that one service. All these 3 months in Dikala and but that one service, I could feel Amanxeba healing me. I could feel I could feel God and Bamba. I could feel him and Sondeza. I had never felt that before. And now I'm thinking to myself that indeed lemvula ndithetha ngayo iyakwazi komnye ibe yintlungu, iyakwazi komnye imoshele izinto, but iyakwazi komnye ibe kanti yile nto izawumenza qhame. Because when was I going to ever feel God holding me? Like literally, it felt like, when my husband is cuddling with me, it felt like it was God, and it was more, it was more warm. It had so much love. It had, I don't know how to explain it. When my husband hugs me and he cuddles with me, it feels so great. But what I felt that Sunday, it was out of this world. Hence, I kept crying and crying and crying, because zange ndaiva into enjeyana before. So sometimes I learned that sometimes ezinye izinto awuzozifunda kumnandi, ezinye izinto awuzozifumana kumnandi, because if khandingena kulaa situation ndifilishe ngale ndlela ndifilisha ngayo, bengazoyazi uba uThixo akwazi umhaka umntu, bengazoyazi uba akwazi umsondeza akhadlishe and finish the warmth of a parent, the warmth of a lover who's your God, the warmth of a friend, a father, a brother. That I could feel all of those things, So I felt zongazazin. It felt like yonke laa nto bendiyilekhisha, all the kind of love I lacked in my life, I received it in that particular moment. Yonke la resentment bendinayo yasuswa, yonke laa nto bendiyifilisha yasuswa, and I felt like a new person. And I felt like I've been rebirthed. I felt like I felt like I don't know anything, but the only thing I know is how God can love a person, how God can comfort a person. So I learned that in eza situations and as much as zibambi, zibabhlungu, sisophula, sisibulala, sisityumza, sisenza all of these things. Kweza situation kuko konke once zigqithe sijonge after zona, there comes a good thing. Phuma uThixo who can comfort someone, phuma uThixo who can love someone, phuma uThixo who can make you feel like you've never felt before. And I also want to thank the people that have been very sensitive to the Spirit when God showed them that she's going through this. When God showed them she's going through this, abanye they didn't pray, but they gave me love. They showed me love. They appreciated me. And you, my followers, I remember one of my followers, she went to me at work and she said, and then what happened? Why are you quiet? Like, I've been following you. Uthule, and I was saying, yo, I'm going through a lot. And she was saying, but we were learning from you. We are learning from you. And we want you to come back. So here's to that follower. I am back now. And I am back with lots and lots of things to share. So thank you so much, my followers, for unganlahi, for making sure that for showing me love, for commenting, for keeping my channel up and going even when I cannot keep it up and going. This channel is not my channel, it's our channel. So thank you so much. Be on the look, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Please comment, please like, please share this video so that we grow this channel and we grow it and we grow it and we grow it. Love you so much, and thank you for watching this video.